Morning. I see we have somebody on, and if you can just give me a quick thumbs up in the chat box that I just opened, just to let me know that you can hear me okay and the sound is okay, that would be very helpful. I see we have a couple people on. We're going to be starting just about 4 minutes or so here. And I have a chat box open. So if somebody could just give me a little thumbs up that you can hear me okay, that would be really helpful. Thank you. Thank you, Judith. I appreciate that. So looks like we've got some folks on. Hi, everybody. It's that time, so we're going to get started here. Today's program is being recorded. So hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking all about the great pumpkin, beyond the jack-o'-lantern, and going to explore some of the health benefits of pumpkin. And this little PowerPoint I'm going to try to get through really quick because we have some really healthy pumpkin treats that I'm going to share some recipes with you, and we can make those here today. So fun facts about pumpkins. They're native to Central America and Mexico. They're now grown on every continent except Antarctica. Morton, Illinois is considered pumpkin capital of the whole world. The Libby pumpkin factories there, you know, that's the can of pumpkins you see. And it produces 85% of the world's canned pumpkins. There are actually over 45 different types of pumpkin, and not all of them are bright orange. They range from white to green and even some sort of burgundy-ish colors. Pumpkins take about 90 to 120 days to mature. And on average, a pumpkin will have about 500 seeds inside of it. Largest pumpkin ever grown in the world, 2,624 pounds. And in America, just in 2018 in New Hampshire, the largest pumpkin ever grown here was 2,528 pounds. Those really big pumpkins that you see at the county fairs and whatever are actually edible, but they don't taste very good. The small sugar pumpkins, which I'll show you one after, is usually what we talk about when we use pumpkin for cooking. And pumpkin pie, America's favorite dessert. And while we do use pumpkins to decorate for Halloween and make all those jack-o'-lanterns, they were originally not, jack-o'-lanterns were originally not made from pumpkins at all. The first jack-o'-lanterns were made from turnips. It started as an Irish folk tale about a man named Stingy Jack, and the devil wouldn't let Stingy Jack across to the afterlife, so he had to wander the earth at night lit by a single candle, and he put the coal, rather not a candle, into a hollowed out turnip to carry it, and that earned the name jack-o'-lantern. So this was an Irish tradition of carving turnips into a face and lighting them. And when Irish immigration came to America, they found that pumpkins were better suited for this carving, and thus began our jack-o'-lantern with pumpkin. So just some interesting little trivia there. Pumpkins are truly, though, a nutritional superfood. They're a type of winter squash, and although we often think of pumpkin and other squash as vegetables, they're scientifically considered a fruit as they contain seeds and they grow from the flower of the plant. Every part of the pumpkin is edible, including the skin, the leaves, the flower, the stem. And pumpkins contain a variety of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that help support a healthy immune system, including riboflavin, which helps your body fight off bacterial infection, folate, which is a B vitamin, vitamin C, vitamin E. All of these are also important to support your immune system. Pumpkin is particularly rich in beta carotene. That's the part that turns it orange. Our bodies turn beta carotene into vitamin A. So in addition to helping boost your immune system, vitamin A is really a great anti-aging nutrient. It helps to contribute to the cell renewal process and increasing collagen in your skin. So you'll even see pumpkin listed in skincare products sometimes. Vitamin A is also really important for eyesight. It helps to improve eyesight. Pumpkin is also a diet-friendly food. It's lower in calories than many other carbohydrates. 1 cup is only 49 calories. It's a very good source of fiber, 7 grams of fiber per cup. And we know that keeps you feeling full longer and helps to promote regularity. When it comes to health benefits of the pumpkin, it doesn't end with the pumpkin flesh. The seeds from pumpkins are rich in fiber and many other nutrients, including magnesium, mineral that benefits your heart health and bone health and helps to lower blood pressure. Like other nuts and seeds, they're rich in plant-based phytosterols, which have been shown to help reduce LDL cholesterol or bad cholesterol. Zinc is an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent, helps with metabolic processes. Tryptophan helps to promote sleep and boost mood. Vitamin K helps to prevent blood clots and excessive bleeding. Good source of iron, which can help boost cognitive function and great for muscle growth and can help prevent anemia. And a good source of protein, actually, 7 grams per protein for every 28 grams of pumpkin seeds. So great little protein boost. To cook pumpkin, we have those little pumpkins. There's a little recipe here. You guys are welcome to do a quick screenshot if you want that. But basically, you just want to cut those, scoop out the seeds, maybe coat it with a little bit of excuse me, sorry about that. Let me get rid of that. Coat that with a little bit of oil and then roast it in the oven. When you do cooked baby pumpkins, there's a lot of water content in pumpkins. So if you're going to use it in a recipe, you may want to pat some of the water out. But if you want to grab a quick screenshot here, here's the instructions for roasting a pumpkin. And I will show you a sugar pumpkin so you know what those look like. This is also being recorded, so you can also get these recipes wherever you find the recording. Today, we're going to do, I'm going to try to speed cook through a couple of different recipes, but primarily we're going to start with our pumpkin power bites, which are great little snacks that use both pumpkin and pumpkin seeds. And a great little healthy quick snack, great for just a quick afternoon snack or before or after a workout. So we're going to try pumpkin power bites. I'm also going to throw these other two recipes up here. Hopefully we get to them all. It'll be quick. But pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, really nice, healthy, doesn't have any eggs or flour in it. So I'm going to work on those if you want to try a screenshot, or again, this is being recorded. And finally, pumpkin chia seed pudding. If you like pumpkin pie, as we know that 36% of the world loves it's their favorite of America. You will like this pumpkin chia seed pudding because it really tastes like the inside of a pumpkin pie. So those are our recipes. I'm going to stop sharing this PowerPoint now and welcome to my kitchen here. Let me turn you around. And we'll get going with a few of these recipes live. So those pumpkin power bites, they have so many great things in them. And I'm going to cook those right here in a little food processor. So I've got a cup of just basic old-fashioned oats here. I like to use the old-fashioned ones versus the ones that are quick because they have a little bit thicker grain. As we know, oats are really a fabulous addition to your diet, soluble fiber, which helps to lower cholesterol. So I've got a cup of those. In the recipe, it's double all of this. So I'm only doing half because I did half the other day. Then I've got just canned pumpkin here. This is 100% pure pumpkin. You don't want pumpkin pie filling because that has other things added like all the sugar and everything. So this is pure pumpkin. So I've got some pure pumpkin here and I'm using a quarter cup of that. I'm going to throw that right in here with my oats. Super simple. Then we've got 2 tablespoons of a nut butter. I'm using a creamy peanut butter, no salt. Peanut butter is one of those things you should always read the label because peanut butter should just be peanuts. There's oil in peanuts. They don't need to add additional oils and other sweeteners. So this one is even not salted. So peanut butter, I always advise, any kind of nut butter, really read the label because quite frequently, on some of the major labels, they've added sugar, they've added other ingredients that you don't necessarily need or want to have in your diet. And I like to be able to control if I want a little sweetener in my peanut butter to add a little honey or maple syrup to myself. From there, I've got a quarter cup of, you can either use maple syrup if you want to keep it vegan or honey. I've got some honey right here. I'm going to add a quarter cup of that in. And what I like to use for honey, the jar honey is usually a little bit thinner. I like to use like a raw organic honey. This I find to be a little thicker, so it helps to keep the power balls together a little bit more. It binds a little bit easier. But certainly you could use the other honey. You might then just want to throw the dough into the fridge to let things absorb a little bit before you mix it or make the balls. And then from there, so we've got some other great superfoods here. We've got chia seeds, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. Now, chia seeds are really great. They have calcium, they have iron. In addition, they're a very good source of omega-3 and fiber, lots of fiber, and there's 6 grams of protein for every serving of chia seed as well. So really a superfood here. The nice thing about chia is that, a little bit more here, the chia seed will absorb liquid. So that's a great thing. And in this recipe, I'm going to be adding some pumpkin seeds. So I just have these organic sprouted pumpkin seeds. And again, we know that the pumpkin seeds have a lot of great value themselves for a lot of different, let's see where, oh, there it is. Looking for my spoon. Great value themselves. So these have already just been roasted, but if you were using your own pumpkin, you could roast your own seeds as well. And I'm going to throw in 2 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds here. A little vanilla extract because everything tastes better with vanilla. So I've got just a half of teaspoon of vanilla going in. And then cinnamon. You could use pumpkin pie spice too in this, but pumpkin pie spice is going to have a little bit of other ingredients in it. So I'm just using just a little cinnamon for this. So some cinnamon in there. Cinnamon is great. It's actually a metabolism booster. So I like to put cinnamon on everything pretty much. Additionally, we're just gonna do a quick pinch of salt. If you use a salted peanut butter, you don't necessarily need that. So I'm gonna start with this part of the recipe and throw that on my food processor here. And we're just gonna pulse that. Oh, I gotta put the top piece in. Pulse that just to get it blended up. There we go. Okay, so I've got that blended in there. And you could leave that for longer, blend it a little bit more, and it'll get you know, thinner, the oats will get a little chopped up a bit more, but I like to leave it a little rough, so I don't blend it too much. So I've got that in here. I'm gonna pull out the blade, get all the yummies off of it. And I'm just gonna throw this into let me do the big, into another bowl here. There we go. There's my dough. Now, again, if you were using this with a little thinner honey or with pumpkin that you roasted yourself that maybe had a little bit more water content and it was a bit looser than what you see here that I have, you might want to just throw that in the refrigerator for a little bit of time, just to let it harden up a little bit. And then the good stuff. We have some semi-sweet little, I like to use mini morsels because I feel like they mix in better size-wise. And I'm just going to throw a quarter cup here of these mini chocolate chips in. Here we go. And mix those all in really well. I got like a nice dough in here. Smells delicious. I'm sorry you can't smell it through the computer, but I have to take my word for it. It smells great. So I'm just blending that all in. Great. So just want to show you up close. There's our dough. You can see we've got the seeds all broken up and the chia in there. So from here, super easy. I just have my little tray lined with some parchment paper. I'm going to take out about a tablespoon scoop here. You can see it's right there. Roll that into a ball. This is I'll do all of these up. This is gonna go in, I put it in the freezer for just 15-20 minutes to set. And then you can either store them in the freezer and take them out a little bit at a time or store them in the refrigerator. So really healthy, delightful little treat that you can grab. Sure, the kiddos will love it as well. So just a nice treat to grab. So the next recipe I want to do for you real quick, checking my time here. I was hoping we would have plenty of time to do all three. So the chia seed pudding. So the chia seeds, as we mentioned, they have protein, they have fiber, they have healthy omega-3s. Great way really to start your day, makes a great breakfast, makes a great treat. And chia seed, because of the way that it kind of absorbs liquid, it turns into a very gelatinous kind of substance. So you can mix it with whatever your plant milk or milk-based thing, let it sit 4 hours or overnight, and then you have a little bit of almost like a pudding. So that's the chia seed beauty of it that creates pudding. So what I have here on the chia seed pudding is I've got a cup of milk, and I'm using a vanilla flavored almond milk. And then we're going to do just a half a cup here of my pumpkin puree. Again, you could double, triple this recipe. If you're doing chia seed in individual mason jars, which I will sometimes do, it is 2 tablespoons of chia to 4 ounces of liquid. So you would put in your 4 ounces of liquid and then add 2 tablespoons of chia seed, and that will create that sort of puddingy texture. So I've got my half cup of pumpkin puree. On this one, I'm using maple syrup. So this is also a vegan recipe, and doing, 1 to 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. I'm just going to do 1.5 here because I have that vanilla almond milk, which always tastes somewhat sweet to me. And then pumpkin pie spice. On this one, I am going to use the pumpkin pie spice, which I think I have here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Pumpkin pie spice. So the difference is it starts with cinnamon, but you also have ginger, nutmeg, and cloves when you have pumpkin pie spice. So if you ever making a recipe and you don't have pumpkin pie spice, those little ginger, nutmeg, cloves, and cinnamon will create your pumpkin pie spice. I'm going to do a teaspoon of my pumpkin pie spice here. See? Whoop, there it is. Maybe a little more than that. And I've got, back to those chia seeds, I'm going to do a 1/4 cup of chia seeds. So pop those right in there. Now, these are black chia seeds, but you can also get, I think in Whole Foods, I find like a ivory colored chia seed. This one's a little bit more mixed. So, the recipe is going to look a little darker. But if you prefer to have the ivory colored chia seeds, same nutritional profile, just a little bit of a color. So with this, I'm just going to really whisk this up really well, try to incorporate all of the chia seeds into the mix. Just get it whisked up nicely. Here, and then simple as that, I am going to stick this in the refrigerator and let it set up overnight. And from this very liquidy material, what I'll end up with, get a spoon here so you can see this, is this pudding texture. The chia seed absorbs all of that liquid and you get this pudding texture. And honestly, this tastes so much like the inside of a pumpkin pie. Last night, I had a little bit of it with a dollop of whipped cream on top there. You could sprinkle a little bit of extra cinnamon on top, although I don't have the thingy on here, so I'm not going to try that. I don't have the and there is your chia seed pudding. Great for breakfast, or makes a delicious, delicious dessert. And as I said, you can make these. I would mix it up and then individually put some in mason jars. If you want to make it in mason jars, it travels really well. So that is your chia seed pudding. So terrific. So on our last recipe here, I just want to make sure I have a couple minutes. This is another great one, and it's super easy. I just need to get myself a new bowl. Sorry about that. I had all the bowls out. Okay, so healthy chocolate chip cookies, pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. And who doesn't love a chocolate chip cookie? So, and again, I'm only going to do half of the recipe here. So simple recipe. It starts with the oats. So I've got about a cup, a little like a good solid full cup of oats here. Be about 1 1/8 cups actually of my oats. So I've got all that wonderful soluble fiber going. And then I'm going to do a full cup of pumpkin, excuse me, I'm not doing a full cup. I'm doing a 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree. Where's my 1/2 cup? I'll just fill this one halfway here. Eyeball it. So using up this pumpkin puree here, I've got about a 1/2 cup's worth in there. And again, taste adjust these recipes if you like a little bit more pumpkin or a little less. And if you're making pumpkin cookies, they're always going to be a little bit of a moist cookie. So if you like a drier cookie, you want to, especially, told you I was going to be, this is your sugar pumpkin. This is the pumpkin you would find that you would cut in half, scoop out the seeds, put a little oil, put it in the pan, roast it. But it would be a little bit more watery. So if you were using this kind of pumpkin, you would want to definitely get it dried out a little bit. And the way to do that is to put it in the bowl and then you keep patting it with paper towels and absorb some of that liquid. So I've got my oats, I've got my pumpkin. And for this recipe, I'm going to use a little bit of coconut sugar. You could use a sugar of your choice, but coconut sugar is nice because it has a flavor profile like a brown sugar. And a little bit lower glycemic response with coconut sugar than with plain white sugar. So my coconut sugar, I'm just going to do a couple tablespoons of that. A tablespoon here. Just wipe this out. Here we go, 2 good-sized tablespoons. The recipe calls for a 1/4 cup when we double that of my coconut sugar. And then back to my pumpkin pie spice again. And again, if for any reason you don't like some of the ingredients in the pumpkin pie spice, then we can simply, use a little ginger, a little cinnamon, whichever of the ingredients you like or don't like. I've got a 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. And this looks like a very dry recipe. So as I start to mix this recipe up, it's the pumpkin that creates the binding in the oats. So you really want to just really mix this well, get as much of the binding as you can get, really making the oats wet with the pumpkin to create a dough. And really mix that through. And again, these recipes are just a starting off point. If you think you need a little bit more pumpkin, you add a tablespoon or 2 in here and there if you need it. But if you work this dough a little bit back and forth, it will get wet and start to be able to bind. So I'm just about there now. And this is where I'm going to add in my little chocolate chips again. So got just about a 1/4 cup of those. Let me grab one of my little 1/4 cup measures. Although you can't go wrong adding extra chocolate chip, in my mind. And just get that blended in now. Okay. So you can see from a very, very dry recipe, you end up with this kind of nice little dough texture going on. Super simple. Oats, pumpkin, a little bit of coconut sugar, and some chocolate chips, 4 ingredients, and got that going. So then, I'm simply, once I get that wet enough, going to take that, make that into a little ball. Same thing. I'll do this one over here. And then just drop that down on parchment and flatten it out a little bit. So flatten those out like so. Here we go. Same thing. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. They will be a little orange when you're done with this. I'm gonna flatten that one out. And this will probably make, I did a 1/2 recipe the other night of these, and this made about 12 cookies, and they're about, 2 or so inches in diameter. So it makes about 12 total cookies. So this is I'm gonna pop this into an oven, 350, for about 10 to 15 minutes. And what I did was after 10 minutes, I did flip them over, just so that they would be a little bit more evenly cooked. And you would want to keep them on the fairly thin side. And if you want them less chewy, you want them a little thinner, if you want to make them a little bit less chewy. But these will stay. You want to let them cool off and then put them in a sealed container. They'll stay for about a week in the refrigerator. And if you wanted to freeze them, you could freeze them for up to 3 months in the freezer. So I'm going to continue on with this. You don't have to watch for all of them, but I'm going to continue on with this. And as I said, probably get about a dozen cookies out of this little recipe. Super easy, didn't have to take out any equipment other than a bowl and a spoon. And I'll pop these in the oven and have about a dozen cookies from that. And I've got some that are all made up so you can see the texture. The one thing I would advise though is because there is so much moisture in this recipe from the pumpkins, you want to make sure that after you bake it, that you really, really let them cool completely. And I would cool them on a wire rack so that you aren't, the moisture gets out. The recipe, okay, so I'm just sorry I didn't have my chat box open. Checking the chat box while we're chatting here. A blender instead when you're using the food processor. So I assume that was relative to the power balls. You can, the only problem with the blender is you might get that really, really fine. And so you won't have kind of that chunkiness. So you could potentially even do that recipe if you weren't using pumpkin seeds. The food processor really is there helpful for the pumpkin seed because you want those chopped. So if you were to pre-chop your pumpkin seed and then add that to the recipe with the chia seed and the pumpkin and the oats and everything else, if you were to pre-chop that, you could probably use like a pastry cutter to incorporate all that and then roll them into the balls. So hopefully that answers your question about the blender. I would probably go with a pastry cutter and do it by hand. The other thing with those, and I forgot to do this, another thing you can add into those, say you weren't going to do pumpkin seeds, but you wanted to, I mean, that recipe, the Powerball recipe, really can be done with so many different ingredients. But I also like to add flax seed. So maybe if I would do half chia and half flax. Flaxseed's another great little superfood. 2 tablespoons is 2,400 milligrams of omega-3, which is, again, we want those omega-3s, and 3 grams of fiber. So really great to do the flaxseed as well. Another seed you can use when you're making those power balls is hemp seed. Hemp seed's another great little nutritional seed you can use that has a very high protein profile. So if you want to increase protein in that, you're going to get protein from the you're going to get the protein from the nut butter, and you can get protein from hemp seed as well, and the chia seed. So lots of ways to tweak that recipe based on what you're going for. I have even used recipes with a scoop of protein powder with the basic recipe of the sweetener, the oats, and whatever else. So lots of different ways to tweak that. In terms of the recipes being shared, this whole program has been recorded. So wherever you go to look at the recordings of the wellness programs, the PowerPoint is there and you can screenshot those recipes or jot them down from the recording. The pudding when I put it in the fridge overnight. Oh, so the chia seed pudding. Yes. So I'm gonna, you can see this is, yeah, you know what? I don't know if you can see this. Let me grab a spoon. Here we go. This has been sitting on the counter, hasn't even been refrigerated yet, and it's already starting to thicken. That's the kind of the magic of those chia seeds, right? Excuse me. It's already starting to thicken. So in answer to your question, yes, I do cover that before I put that in the refrigerator. Anyway, did want to show you, these are my completed oatmeal pumpkin cookies. And they're not super crunchy. They're like a bit more dense, but they're not, they're not a wet cookie. They're a bit more dense. So, these are absolutely delicious, would make a great snack for the kiddos because it's healthy. And you have the chocolate in there. So the pumpkin oatmeal cookies. So 3 of my favorite, really easy pumpkin recipes that you all can do and put together quickly. So, we all buy these cans of pumpkin in the season. It's like, oh, what am I going to do with it? There's so many things out there. Pumpkin soup is another great one that you can use it for. So, beyond the jack-o'-lantern, today you've seen some different ways that you too can use pumpkin. It's a delicious and nutritious superfood. So I'm going to end the recording here. Um, let's see. Here we go.